And we told you Dr. Kwame Asante, he is a senior lecturer with the Political Science Department of the University of Ghana. He's right here in the studio. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Friend. Yeah, and we're grateful that you've been able to wade through traffic and come here this morning. But we're here also because of good reason. CDD, they put together another report for us. They've been doing that, a string of Afrobarometer survey findings that they've been publishing and then sending us copies, and copiously. Also, we've been communicating that. Now, the latest one is indicating that 42% of respondents who were asked if they will exercise their franchise if elections were to be held tomorrow said they will not vote. Now, outside this, there are other interesting revelations from the survey, and subsequently the report makes interesting reading. And that's why you've joined us. You've gone through the report, haven't you?
I have.
Okay. Summarily, what do you think makes interesting reading in there for you as a political scientist?
Every aspect of the report is very good for me. And it's also a good feedback for those in government and those in opposition. When you are governing, you need at least, at a point in time, go back to the people and assess, get a feel of how they feel about your government. In other words, you should be able to hear the voices of those on the ground. And that's exactly what CDD has done. And for me, it's a good learning point for both government and parties in opposition.
Well, we'll take viewers through the report very soon. It will be on your screens, and then we'll quickly just go through some of the sections. So we have the key findings. For example, when they were asked if presidential elections were convened the following day, whether they will vote, more than four in 10 Ghanaians, that's 42%, said they would not vote. Now, that's very instructive. Said they would not vote, and that makes up 11%. And then 12% of them said, well, we don't know. And the 19%, they even refused to answer at all. But continuing, the proportion of Ghanaians who said they would not vote and who did not declare a voting intention, the highest recorded in Afrobarometer surveys going back to 2008. That makes it interesting. I asked Dr. Asante what he makes of this. Now, the youth were twice as likely as older citizens to say they would not vote. 14% of those aged between 18 and 35 years said they would not vote. What could account for this? It's another question I've put in my bank. Now, 7% of those aged 56 and above, you know, were urban residents, 15% compared to rural residents, 7%, also give some indications as well. Now, those who sit out the election was also considerably stronger among the highly educated. So myself, my lead producer, Derek Sam, and then we have 8 more others out of 10 Ghanaians. 70% of those with post-secondary education and relatively well-off citizens like those who are above us, all of us in the studio, we were not well off. 13% among those experiencing no lived poverty compared to the less educated 6% of those with no formal education, and then poor citizens, 4% among those experiencing high lived poverty. They said they will not vote. Now, compared to 2017, and this is interesting, it's also instructive. The proportion of respondents who said they would not or they would vote for MPP, it's dwindled by 15% from over the last, or 15 percentage points from over the last 2 years. Now, it's down from 49% to 34%. So in 2017, by close of 2017, 49% will still vote for NPP, Nanado, and all that. But while the share who said they will vote for the NDC also remained just unchanged at 22%. So that's a constant. Okay. Now, we'll tell you all about this. And let me start with you.
Yeah.
The indication that, one, we have a log, huge log, of a voter population, youthful, 35 age group. And then we have smaller numbers, 4% of uneducated, we have the following, and those even above 55 years, saying they would not vote. What do you make of it? What could be some of the ascribed reasons or rationale for this?
There are a lot. One is that if you look at governance over the years, some people believe that government that we've had in the Fourth Republic, despite the fact that they've been able to do a lot of stuff, a lot of projects and programs for this country, there are a lot of things that they've not been able to fix for Ghanaians. So people are now coming out, expressing their views about this, that we are not satisfied with governance that we are experiencing in this country. And that is one of the things we are seeing. Another thing is the fact that there are also, anytime parties go for elections, you see promises, including wild promises, and that governments have not been able to deliver on those promises. And that is the feedback you are getting. We can also talk about the fact that if you look at government policy, for instance, this government trying to clean the mess in the banking sector, that's a good program that the government has been able to do, and government has done it successfully. But you realize that the effect, the negative effect, one of it is that, yes, these things have pushed some people out of jobs. And
just some or large number?
Yeah, whatever number. But there are some people who are out of job now. Do you think those people are interested in listening to issues about election? They are not, because for now, they are out of jobs. And despite the fact that government was doing the right thing to step up the game in the banking sector, but the other effect is that, hey, there are people who are out of jobs, and what do you expect them to do? They will not be interested in listening to any election stuff. Another thing we can also look at is the fact that now we are close to elections. We are not there yet. And parties have not come out with their manifestos and programs that people can look at them carefully and begin to assess them. And out of that, decide to what? Support the call for elections and all that. These things are not yet out. So we are saying that this is one of the factors that explain this development we are seeing. Of course, we have also seen the issue of corruption, which keeps coming up. If you look at the earlier report CDD
in terms
published,
of the perception.
The perception. It means that government have not been able to deal with corruption head on. You and I are very much aware of the fact that there have been good efforts by this government to be able to deal with this situation head on. But hey, what have you achieved? If you look at the report, it means that corruption is, we are not able to deal with it the way it ought to be done. It ought to be dealt with. And that, for me, is one of the problems we are having on our hand now. There is also the issue of, whether government will be able to maintain this fine programs that we have. Take, for instance, the last election, this government promised us, or the MPP promised us, that we are going to have, a lot of projects, such as one village, one dam, and all this. Yes, government is doing its bit, and we are improving in that direction. We are getting more dams and all that. But it is also true that not all the villages have got all these things done. And these are some of the concerns you are getting. And tied to other factors, that is how far we have come with the 42%, that people are not ready to see and know anything about election. For me, as a student of politics, then it's a very worrying development. Why? Then you go back to the argument of democratic reversals, where people believe that if democracy will not give us the dividend that we need, then there is a need to go to the non-democratic era, which you and I don't want to go there forever and ever. And this means that institutions that have been charged to deal with democratic issues must be up and doing. What should they do? They should continue to drum the messages of democracy to the ears of every Tom, Dick, and Harry in this country. We need to be able to discuss these issues very well. We need to be able to give people a lot of education.
Well, I have to come to the the owners of the reports. And Gilfred Isiama is a research analyst with CDD Ghana. Thank you for joining us. Good morning, Gilfred.
Good morning, Roland, and thank you for having me.
Yeah, great having you too. And those questions you asked, are they the only questions you asked of the respondents?
Well, so as you and many of your viewers will note, Afrobarometer survey, we asked several questions. But this time, we just brought the question on voter preference going to 2020 elections for all of us to discuss. We have earlier on released some findings on economic condition of the country, on the corruption management by the government, on the confidence people have in the financial institutions, on the views on the referendum. So this is one of the releases that we are sharing with the public so far as the Afrobarometer report for 2019 is concerned.
If I want to do what the trend analysis is for non-voters and undeclared voters at the times that from 2008 and 2019 you've done the surveys, this seems to be the period alongside which you have, well, apart from 2014, for those who said they will refuse to vote, that you seem to have the margins quite wide.
That's very true, Roland. If you look at the figures that we have from the Afrobarometer report, 2014 and 2019 have the highest number of respondents who refused to answer our question. But again, when you look at the figure from 2019, you realize that we have a large number of respondents or Ghanaians who, when we asked them the question, if presidential elections were held tomorrow, which party's candidates would you vote for? They indicated that they are not going to vote for any political party or political party candidate. And we said that is worrying because for the first time, we've seen such a huge number of respondents or Ghanaians who do not have the intention to go and vote in 2020 elections. And again, even when you come to the undecided, it is very true that we have 12 months ahead of us. And looking at the time that we did the survey from September to October going to 2020 December, that's quite some time to change things. But the number of people, or the percentage of Ghanaians who said they are not decided or who are so indecisive about which political party they want to vote for also remains huge. That itself is not a worry. What that suggests is that the grounds are fertile for both NPP and NDC people to do their work well and then reach out to those undecided voters. Depending on how their work goes, depending on what policies they bring, depending on what messages, how effective their policies are in responding to the needs and expectations of voters, they will be able to win them to participate in the elections, or they may even stay out of the polls.
Just be on the line for me one more time. I have one more question to ask you. But if we have to do the interpretation and look at the demographics or the age groups that seem to be having this apathy or being indecisive or impassive, okay? What could be some of the ascribed reasons based on what benchmarks they are having with what is happening elsewhere across the globe, and for which reason they are remaining apathetic?
As I've already indicated, you realize that everybody wants to benefit from this democratic enterprise, and people in that bracket cannot be left out. So once they don't feel or see it, then it gives them cause to worry not to participate in this process, which will obviously lead to that benefit that they want to expect one day. Apart from this, you realize that our institutions, some of them have not been able to educate people in this bracket very well about the need to participate in such processes. Take it or leave it. Today, we have a democracy. We should do everything possible to sustain it, make it what? The only game in town, so that it becomes so attractive, and people will see the need to what engage in an exercise like this. This brings to mind what democratic scholars have been saying, that you need to have the ABC when you want to frame a process like this. What called attitude and behavior, and then you deal with what constitutional matters. You should put up a certain behavior. All right, you are prepared to support it. Yes, maybe the time can be long, but you do your best to maintain the democratic structures there. The attitude, you should put up the right attitude to receive such a process, and then you should be able to work your way within the laws so that you firm this process. And I believe that these things, I am happy. We have seen work done by civil society organizations in this regard, CDD, IDEC, and the rest of it. They've done a lot, but we need to do, from what we are getting, it means that we need to do more to be able to bring a lot of people on board so that they can appreciate a process like this that will lead to the benefit, or that will produce the benefit for all. And this we should not lose sight of.
Mr. Siama, how is the earlier report on the economic performance and the indexes or the variables that were used in that an influence on the decisions they will make on the governance field, per this survey report you have?
Roland, when you go back to let me give you an example. When you look at the trend in the trust in the president, it is true that when we went to the field and we asked Ghanaians how much they trust some institutions, with the president included, the president was the second trusted institution or actor in the political space. But the trust in the president, comparing 2017 to 2019, had dropped by 15% difference. Again, when we asked Ghanaians how the government was managing the economy, a slight margin, about 51% said they thought the government was managing the economy well. But when you ask the same respondents their present living condition, they would tell you that their present living condition is not that good. Again, when you come to the corruption, how the government was managing corruption or handling corruption, we had majority of Ghanaians saying that the government management of corruption or handling of corruption had worsened, and they had rated the government down. Again, when we asked Ghanaians whether corruption had increased over the past 12 months, we had a lot more to say that corruption had increased over the past 12 months. So comparing the indicators in 2017 and 2019, you could see that the government has suffered some decline in some key important issues that matter to voters. Economic condition, their present economic condition, and even the overall direction of the country, they said the government was not doing well. Trust in the president had dropped, and the economic, the corruption, the management of corruption had also not. They didn't do well in the survey. So it is not surprising that voters have, or some voters, we have margin of voters who are saying they are not going to vote for the present administration. That is why you see the drop over there. And to us, and those who are interested in politics, as the panelists in your studio said, this is a clear indication that people are following the governance processes. And we are moving towards what others call performance voting, where voters look at what you are putting on the table, how you are managing the economy, how it is impacting on their personal living conditions, how you are handling corruption, which matter to them, how you are even directing the overall governance in the system, how the state is going or how the country is going. So when they see you are not doing well, definitely some people will not support you. And I think it is a reason why we have seen that decline in the rating of the NPP, where you see some people saying, well, if elections were held tomorrow, we were not going to vote for the NPP, as we said in 2017. But again, one key thing from the differences in the demographics, I think one is puzzling, that we need to do more research about. When you take the rural folks, comparing the rural folks
to the urban. That's on page 3. Mr. Siama.
Hello.
Yeah, Mr. Siama. That's on page 3. Yes, figure 3.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. That's figure 3, and on page 3.
Yeah.
You could see that the youth were highly unlikely to go to the polls. To me, that is not too surprising, because if you go back and check the indicators, even on economic conditions, you could see that the impact on the youth was huge compared to those above 56 years or 56 years and above. That is very clear. But when it comes to the no-live poverty, which is people who are well-to-do or they have high socioeconomic status, and those with high-live poverty, which means these people their socioeconomic status is quite low. Comparing the two, and even those with post-secondary education and no formal education, and going back to the other indicators, what I see here is puzzling, because those with high socioeconomic status and post-secondary education, the impact on the economy, on their lives, wasn't as much as those with no formal education and high-live poverty. Again, even though it is puzzling, that can be interpreted. But I think having a casual look at it, you will say that maybe these people care more or they respond more to changes in the economy than those with a high-live poverty and those with no formal education. But maybe that will be early days to make that conclusion. We need to do more analysis and then try to see if there are relationships between these indicators and their intention not to vote. But a casual look at it will tell you that some people respond to changes in the economy more than others.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Gilbert Isiama, a research analyst with CDD Ghana, for that instructive contribution there. But that's where we return to you. And I wanted to focus on this and ask you a question, and he raised that as well. Because if you look at the demographic, those who have had schooling, education after secondary school, 19% said they refused to answer, and those who said they don't know, indecisive, 14%. You do the sums. The summation is giving you an indication of 33%. I should be worried that that demographic, alongside those who are in the no formal education background, also have a compounded percentage of refusing to answer and don't know of some 32%. That's fearful.
It is. It is.
Because it means that so-called these people don't have any formal education. They could be located in urban and rural Ghana. And these category also have had some formal education after secondary school, and perhaps will feed into your argument about the effects of the financial layout, etc. And the other ones also feeling it because maybe they may be in retail, etc. Could there be some good interpretations we can make in there?
Yes. One reason we can assign to this is issue about the economy. The economy is...
It plays key role in their decision making? A
very important role. People want to find jobs after school. And if you look at that bracket, you realize that there are some who have gone to secondary school. When they finish, they don't want to continue. Obviously, they need jobs. Do they find the jobs? If they do, what is the living condition, right? In this Fourth Republic, we've seen effort by government to deal with the economy, to improve the economy. But you realize that more often than not, we tend to have more problems, especially when we're going for elections. You see government doing everything to improve the economy. And when they get closer to elections, the very economy they've spent resources and time to build, they are ready to destroy and get power. And some of these things bring about these effects, what the economists call the political business cycle. They build, destroy, build. I'm hopeful that looking at the figures we have with regard to the performance of this government in the area of the economy, they will maintain it so that when we get to election, we'll still have a sound economy so that we can improve upon it. And that has also, led us into very interesting areas about the report. When you look at the MPP vote diminishing and then NDC also remaining where they are, it tells you that if you look at the government, area that it has excelled so much is the economy. They've improved inflation. They've been able to work on employment. They've been able to deal with the debt burden. They've been able to do a whole lot. If you look at planting for food and job, it's a function of what? Inflation. When you're looking at inflation, you are looking at what? The food production and its what? Effect on society. They've been able to handle this. But if you look at all this, you realize that one of the reasons that we can assign to the dwindling votes of or support of the MPP is the fact that there are a lot of promises they've not been able to met. And if you look at some of the promises, take for instance, one village, one dam. It is true that government is doing very well to be able to improve this condition in areas that government said that is going to provide these facilities. But it has turned out to be that these areas, all the villages have not had their dams. And it tells you that then people begin to wonder whether government has been faithful to them. And this is one of the things that will force people not to vote, or even you lose vote in this regard. Not only that, but you see the issue of infrastructure is a big issue in this regime. It is true that this budget, the finance minister is going to have a lot of money to be able to do infrastructure for this country. But you realize that it's one of the areas that is affecting this government big time. Roads, schools, and what have you. This country has a culture which we must nip it in the bud, where government projects, we have left them to rot. Look at affordable housing projects by Kufuor, they are still in the bush. Look at the one by John Mahama, still in the bush. This is not good enough, all right? And these are things that affect infrastructure. NDC did a lot in the area of infrastructure. And you've seen that, yes, people are questioning whether the roads that they constructed, they are good ones and all that. But the question is, hey, government, show us what you have done. And for me, it's a very good indicator when voters are making choices in election. They look at economy, they look at infrastructure.
Yeah. We'll open the phone lines, and the numbers are on your screens. You can also give us more of your messages through our WhatsApp platform, 0540109009. Let us know what you think. But 03022116991 or 2 is also available for you. Again, 03022116991 or 2. But I'll put this on the screens for you. And this is indicating what the pattern of vote is. The orange is MPP, is on regional basis. And then we have, which color is this? Dark yellow, if there's any color like that. And so at least you can see the differences. That's the NDC votes. That's more shared in the region, unlike how this is also laid out. So if you look at the pattern of the respondent who seem to not wanting to make any decision, and then also don't know, they are waiting to be convinced by both sides.
Yes.
Or they are waiting to be convinced more by the party in power.
It's a normal feature with elections, where you have people who are not ready to tell you the direction they'll vote. It's very normal. But when you begin to have manifestos, you have programs developed out of that, you have messages, then you see people now want to interrogate the issues and decide to give their votes to you or not. It's too early days yet. We'll still have to wait till when we get there. I'm sure we'll be able to reduce the number considerably, because there are people who want to really see what you can do. And that will come from your manifesto. Okay. Go to the field, get that data, look at what?
There are people who are sitting on the fence, but they are for you, but they're just watching.
They're just watching.
Okay.
Yes. There are also who believe that, look, government has failed us. I'm not ready for anything. Nothing will push me into it.
On social media, you get to find more people, especially so-called post-secondary educated people. If they form middle class, fine. You can look at that category. And they seem to express the view, look, I don't know what these politicians are doing. It means that, I mean, they will not vote at all, or they will make a decision to say we don't want to vote. How should those people, because of if it's in Trio,
yeah,
you know, they know how to read and write, they know what's going on, they are in boardrooms, they are in management of senior organizations or big organizations, etc. They know how we've gotten to where we are, and so could make some finite decisions. How could they be convinced?
We should get our governance processes right. How do? We manage issues of corruption, deal with them head on. We should be able to provide their needs. You live in a place and you realize that the infrastructure is down, and you ask yourself, but I'm paying taxes. What are the taxes being used for? And once you don't get answers for this, it feeds into this type of reaction that, hey, why should I waste my time to vote when I put people in office and they are not going to manage my resources well for me? Those are the issues. And we should continue to also showcase. Sometimes you realize that government has done a lot and we don't see the results. They are hiding out there. We should be able to showcase them that, yes, this is what government has done, ABC in this area. Take advantage of it and improve yourself.
Okay. Yeah. Now straight away, let's go on to the phone lines. We have from Wulensi Ibrahim. Ibrahim, good morning to you. Well, we've lost Ibrahim. We'll go to Mohammed. Mohammed is calling from Wale Wale. Mohammed. Well, 2 or down. Please make sure that you still call. And we'll get those callers to you as well. Please, 030. The numbers will be on your screen so that you get to know which number to call. 030-2211-691 or 2030. Okay, so it's there. But so now we have just 12 months. Which ones, up to which month in an election year is a make or break point? I mean, if you don't get this into the minds of people, forget it.
At least 6 months to elections. If you are not able to what?
Whatever you do after that is bonus.
Nobody will take you serious. They think that you are there to deceive. You are not ready yet. So I believe that from January, we'll begin to see signs.
Okay.
This report should serve as what? A good note for those in government and those in opposition. Those in government where the report criticizes something you've done. Strengthen your game and then up your game so that you'll be able to deliver the goods. Where you are falling, where you are not performing well, make sure that you investigate what has really gone wrong and then you improve. This is how you'll be able to attract voters and you'll be able to have people have confidence in the system. Okay. Not only that, but you should be able to also have a listening ear where you listen to views of people and you'll be able to analyze them and then apply them where the need arises.
Okay, so we have John K. John K is calling from Ketu. John K.
Yes, sir.
Which town is Ketu?
Ketu is a district. Ketu South, Ketu North. Ketu North.
Okay, so where exactly are you calling from in the constituency?
From Georgia.
Georgia. Okay, so you're calling from Georgia. John K from Georgia. Please.
Yeah.
Your comment on our discussion so far.
Yeah. It's about the strike issue.
It's about the what?
It's about the strike issue. I'm a teacher. And it's like the government is saying they pay all teachers. They are here to all teachers. But I'm a teacher who I did not receive all my arrears. The limited recruitment that they did, I'm part of it.
Okay.
So the issue about being paying all the teachers the arrears from 2017 to date, I think it's not
Okay, yeah. So it means that arrears are owed you. And they will be from 2017 to which point?
Yeah, from 2017 to date.
Okay.
Like I've been paid, but it's like my.
Okay, so John K, the point you wanted to make was that it's not everybody who has been paid, and I agree. I agree with you on that category. The ministry has also said that there are some who still haven't been paid, but they have some difficulties with verifying their data information, and so they just want to do that. It's where the disagreement is, the bone of contention. Now let's go to Awal, who is calling us from Bembela. Awal.
Yeah.
Please lower the volume on your set so that we communicate phone to phone. It makes it easier. Awal, please, your comment on our discussion so far. We're talking governance issues, a CDD report, etc.
Please, my contribution is that the reason why the Afrobarometer report is saying that the NPP has dwindled in the support base of the party, and that NDC has kept pace or has kept the rhythm is that when you look at, please, I just want, please, pardon me. The reason why the NDC has kept pace and the NPP has dwindled is that in terms of corruption, the NPP has performed abysmally. Considering the performance the former administration has put up, about 48%, and the least performance they put up was 43%. And considering what the NPP has put up, with the highest being 41, tells you that people have lost faith with this administration because they've lost.
Okay, Awal.
You know?
Awal.
Yeah, they've lost the fight against corruption.
Awal. Awal.
Yes,
I'm
yes.
assuming that you are not one of the serial callers from the political parties, right?
Yes.
Okay, so which party did you vote for in 2016?
2016, I voted for the NDC.
NDC. And
yes,
which party will you vote for in 2020?
Hello, I didn't get you.
Which party then would you vote for 2020?
I would vote for the NDC because I think the Ghanaians made a great mistake by bringing this administration to power, bringing the NPP to power.
Okay.
Because they failed in various sectors. With the economy, the life of the ordinary citizens is not reflecting. It's not reflecting.
Wow.
So, yes.
Can I also say that you're an ardent supporter of the NDC? So no matter what the MPP does, you will not be satisfied.
That is also okay. Somebody like me can change my mind.
Have you ever voted for the MPP before, and which election year was that?
I voted for NDC, the MPP in 2008. And
okay, I've got your point. Israel. We have Israel. Do we have Israel on the line? Oh, we lost Israel on the line too. Okay, now let's conclude, sir. Yeah. What will be your concluding remarks on this?
Yeah.
Which will be the best counsel you want to give the opposition and the governing party?
Great. I want to look at two issues, then I come to that. I want to look at the performance of the NDC with regard to this survey. You realize that they've maintained 22%. It tells you that Ghanaians, the way they voted them out, there are things that Ghanaians found that they've not done properly, for which reason they have not forgiven them. And that's why you continue to see...
that's why they have a constant.
Yes, they have a constant. Not only that, if you are not in governance or you are not in government, the problem is that you can initiate any program, any policy, and implement them effectively. So what they depend on is your legacy.
Benchmark.
Yes, your legacy, what you have done. NDC going forward, if they really want to up their game, they need to be able to draw their manifesto quickly, develop policies and programs, begin to give them achievable policies and programs, and come up with messages that will really change the psyche of people.
Okay, so before you come to what you want to comment on, let's go to Yendi, and Buzia is there. Buzia.
Hello.
Have you been following our discussions?
Yeah, I'm following you.
Great. I believe that you are an NPP supporter.
Yeah, I'm NPP supporter. So, but I changed my mind this time.
I don't get you. You haven't decided yet, even though you're an NPP supporter. What are you saying?
Yeah, I'm an NPP supporter, but I'm changing my mind this time.
You are changing to what? Not to vote?
Because of what John Mahama has caused us. What John Mahama has caused us is very. In fact, I don't know how to describe it. You took our money on 3 months policy, and today paying the money to us has become. You see, FPP, this Nana Akufo-Addo has told us a series of lies. that when he comes to the throne, he will pay the arrears to us. And today, how much is $1? Since 2015, I completed. My money is still with the government. And cement, a bag of cement was at what? 30 cities. And today,
are you
25 cities. And today, how much?
Are you a teacher?
Cement?
Are you a teacher, Buzia?
Yeah, I'm a teacher.
So you're also locked up in this impasse. You have outstanding allowances with government?
I have outstanding allowances with government, and that is what I am saying. They say an arrogant head always at the ground. That is what caused John Mahama into what? Opposition. So if Nana Akufo-Addo is taking this, I am assuring him that he will go to opposition because we are the who voted him. And it is the teachers who voted him into power. So he should look into our welfare and pay the money to us so that we something better. Because what the money could have done in 2015 will not be able to do that the same excellently.
Well, Buzia, your point has been made. Mr. Buzia, your point has been made. Let's go to Emmanuel from Nkranza.
Yes.
Emmanuel, I see a Bosia there. Is it a town?
Yeah, it's a town.
Or an area in Nkranza or a town?
Yes, in Nkranza North.
Okay, Nkranza North constituency. Okay.
Yes.
Emmanuel, please go ahead. You've been following our discussion, so I presume that you make some.
Yeah.
Okay, please go ahead.
Yeah, my point is one. Ghana, we have a problem, and that is we don't have national policies. If on education, the parliament will sit down and then have national policies, and if every government comes, they will not come and then promise us and then deceive us and then go. But every government will come and then follow the policies that we have made. I think it will help us in much ways, rather than this president will be coming and then they will come, I will do this, I will do this. They will come and then they will deceive us. Another will come, the same thing. You see that it will follow till. But if you are able to make policies and we follow it, it will help us in a better way.
Emmanuel, that's quite interesting. It will follow till.
Yes.
It will follow till. Okay, Emmanuel, in the last election, which party did you vote for?
Sorry, because I'm working with the Electoral Commission and I don't want to disclose my political affiliation, if you understand me.
But you are anonymous. We don't know. There are many Emmanuels in Nkranza. And then your voice is even not recognizable. So I'm wondering.
Oh, okay. I voted for MPP.
So what will make you change your mind in 2020?
Well, it's not about changing my mind, but it's like what me I like.
Okay.
What the MPP is doing is good. Okay. What the NDC came to do was good.
Okay. So it means that you almost like in the middle, right?
Yes, I'm in the middle.
What could tilt your decision? This is not a tilt you use, but what could tilt your decision?
Well, what could tell my decision is, one, I'm a teacher, okay, and I've been affected by this 3-month policy that the NDC came and then implement.
Was it one of the main reasons why you voted for the MPP?
No, it wasn't.
Okay.
It wasn't.
Okay.
But what could tell my decision is NAPO, because there are so many utterances that he has made against teachers, and it is influencing me to change.
Okay, so you're saying that you don't like the way he speaks?
At all.
Okay.
All.
So it's not because of anything economy or not, but just the way the communication is. It puts you off.
How they treat teachers in Ghana is not good.
Okay. Well, Emmanuel, thank you very much, and also deciding to opening up for that conversation. Emmanuel from Nkranza. There are many Emmanuels in Nkranza. Have a good day, Emmanuel. But we have to conclude on this. Sure. And I wanted you to conclude on...
Yes. So if you look at NDC, they should be able to reach out to the people, sell out their programs, let people know what they have done over the years, and they will be able to gain a lot of votes. Going forward, for all the two parties, what the two can do, if you look at the survey, one interesting aspect of it is that the 6 readings, if elections were held today or yesterday, they are going to vote against the government. The government must be able to settle well and then look at what are the problems of the area and deal with them. The government should be able to fight this battle head on. Get there, do a survey, see the problems there, and begin to develop programs and then develop messages to be able to...
So to you, surveys are quite important?
Very, very important, because you see, you can't do any meaningful election without having a survey to be able to tell you the situation on the ground, and out of that you'll be able to develop your messages. Not only that, they should be able to quickly work on their manifesto so that people, those who can read and write, really want to see something concrete in terms of manifestos, and that would translate into programs, and then you will able to develop your messages out of that, and we should be able to have effective campaigning. Yes. All right.
And Dr. Kwame Asante is also a researcher. He's a researcher into political marketing and many other related areas as well. So does a lot of work on the background as well. Okay, we'll hear more from him subsequently as we're approaching the elections, as it is. And thank you, Dr. Kwame Asante.
Thank you.
Okay, he's a senior political science lecturer, the political science department of the University of Ghana. And I also do know that all teachers in that department, they celebrate Christmas and the New Year. But as the Yuletide approaches, one thing of utmost concern to all of us is our safety on the road. Now, the multimedia group, in collaboration with Guinness Ghana, have launched a road safety campaign. We'll tell you about all that next. Do stay with us.